unidentified objects hovering outside airplane windows, mysterious drones shutting down entire airports, passengers vanishing without a trace, non-human figures appearing in empty cabins.
No, mommy.
These are the disturbing incidents captured by airport cameras around the world. Today, we're counting down 20 of the most unsettling and unexplained events ever recorded at airports. Number 20, UFO, captured by passenger. A traveler filming from their window seat caught something unusual against the cloudy sky outside. The object appeared dark and disc-shaped, hovering motionless while the aircraft raced forward at hundreds of miles per hour. What made this sighting particularly strange was the object's ability to maintain perfect position relative to the moving plane. It seemed almost as if it was deliberately pacing the aircraft, studying the passengers inside. Aviation experts who analyzed the footage found no conventional explanation for the object's behavior. If a silent observer seems disturbing, imagine what happens when an entire airport is shut down by something unknown. Number 19, Tianjin Airport Invasion. The skies above Tianjin Binhai. International Airport were perfectly clear on that September evening in 2024. Yet officials declared a yellow alert and closed the airspace for hours, stranding thousands of travelers. The official explanation pointed to rogue drones, but pilots immediately questioned that theory. A commercial drone simply cannot remain airborne for 10 continuous hours. Witnesses described something far stranger: massive glowing orbs that split into separate pieces before vanishing entirely. The disruption stretched across multiple nights and eventually spread to a military airbase. Whatever was in the sky that week had capabilities far beyond any consumer drone. While Chinese authorities struggled with explanations, New York's LaGuardia Airport recorded its own unidentified visitor. Number 18, LaGuardia's Tic Tac object. Michelle Reyes was doing something millions of passengers do every day, filming the view from her window seat. When she reviewed her footage later, she spotted something that made her heart stop. A cylindrical object, white and featureless, shot past her plane with impossible speed. No wings, no engine, no visible means of propulsion. Experts from a major UFO research organization examined the footage and declared it authentic. They estimated the object was flying at roughly 2,500 feet. Another passenger confirmed seeing the same thing. The FAA received a report but never issued a public statement. Not every mystery involves aircraft. Some involve the passengers themselves vanishing into thin air. Number 17, the man who disappeared. A woman stands patiently in a check-in line, a man positioned calmly beside her. The scene could be any airport anywhere. Then, between one frame and the next, he simply ceases to exist. The woman's reaction tells the story. She freezes, stares at the empty space, and then screams in absolute terror. Security teams searched every possible exit and reviewed every camera angle. They found no trace that the man had ever been there. No one saw him leave. No one saw him arrive. He was there, and then he wasn't. While some vanish, others commit acts that endanger everyone on board. Number 16. Passenger opens. Door mid-flight. The Asiana Airlines flight was descending toward Daegu, South Korea, with 194 people on board. At roughly 850 feet, a man in the emergency exit row grabbed the handle and pulled. Normally, cabin pressure would make this impossible, but at such low altitude, the door opened easily. Wind screamed through the cabin at over 150 miles per hour. Cell phone footage captured the chaos: hair whipping, clothing flapping, passengers screaming. 48 children were on that flight, traveling to a sporting event. Many left the plane in tears. The man claimed he felt suffocated and wanted to escape. He now faces a decade behind bars. Some events are terrifying because of human action. Others are chilling because of natural forces. Number 15. Ghost plane. A channel dedicated to aviation footage captured something eerie during a foggy day near an airport perimeter. Visibility was nearly zero. The camera could barely see beyond its own lens. Then, without warning, a massive aircraft materialized directly overhead. It glided past silently, its form barely visible through the thick, white mist. Seconds later, the fog swallowed it completely. The effect was haunting, a ghost plane appearing from nowhere and disappearing just as quickly. Weather created the illusion, but what happens next involves something far more alarming. Number 14. Plane whip. The video begins with a peaceful view of clouds stretching beneath the wing. Then your eyes lock onto something unexpected. A dark, thin object trails violently from the wing's edge, whipping and twisting in the high-speed airflow. It stretches to its breaking point and then snaps cleanly off. At that exact moment, a brilliant flash illuminates the entire frame. The aircraft shudders violently. Experts debate what actually happened. Some believe it was a static wick disintegrating under electrical stress. Others think a lightning strike created a plasma burst. Whatever occurred, watching part of the plane tear away triggers a primal fear. That fear feels small compared to what happened at Louisville International Airport. Number 13. The UPS crash fireball. A truck driver was sitting in his vehicle near Louisville Airport on an otherwise ordinary evening. His dashcam was running. Within 30 seconds, it captured one of Kentucky's deadliest aviation disasters. The cargo plane's left engine had been developing fatigue cracks for years. As the aircraft accelerated for takeoff, the entire engine assembly ripped away from the wing. Surveillance footage shows the engine flying above the plane before crashing onto the runway behind it. The crippled aircraft staggered into the air but never climbed above 30 feet. It clipped a warehouse roof and slammed into an industrial area, exploding into a fireball that stretched an entire city block. 3 crew members perished. 12 people on the ground lost their lives. 23 others suffered injuries. Sometimes tragedy comes from mechanical failure. Sometimes it comes from a person. Number 12. Runaway strike. A Frontier Airlines flight was accelerating down the runway at Denver International Airport. Suddenly, a man appeared from the darkness at the edge of the runway lights. He had scaled a perimeter fence and positioned himself directly in the aircraft's path. The impact was catastrophic and instantly fatal. The plane was traveling at roughly 240 kilometers per hour. The pilot aborted the takeoff immediately. As the aircraft decelerated violently, smoke filled the cabin. Passengers screamed in terror. All 231 people evacuated onto the dark runway within minutes. Investigators identified the man as Michael Mott, a career criminal with a lengthy record. The medical examiner ruled his death a suicide. One person's deliberate act is disturbing, but one woman's accidental journey is almost unbelievable. Number 11. Svetlana Dali, the Stowaway. A 57-year-old Russian woman walked onto a Delta flight at JFK Airport without a ticket, a boarding pass, or any valid identification. Her method was shockingly simple. She slipped through an employee lane and blended into a family boarding the plane. She spent the entire 8-hour flight locked in a bathroom, telling flight attendants she was vomiting. After landing in Paris, Delta confirmed she wasn't on their passenger list. French authorities detained her and denied her asylum request. Back in New York, she faced federal charges. Then investigators discovered this wasn't her first attempt. 2 days earlier, she had tried the same tactic at Bradley International Airport. 9 months before that, customs agents found her hiding in a secure bathroom at Miami International Airport. Released on bail, she cut off her ankle monitor and headed toward the Canadian border. Police arrested her in Niagara County. A jury convicted her in under an hour, and the judge gave her time already served plus supervised release. While still on that release, she walked onto a United flight to Milan. The crew didn't realize she was on board until the aircraft was over the Atlantic. Italian police arrested her on the tarmac. Svetlana Dali sneaked past security. Others have tried to smuggle far more disturbing things. Number 10. High-stakes border crossing. At a Spanish border checkpoint in Ceuta, customs officers noticed something odd during a routine scan. A suitcase contained a shape that looked unmistakably human. Officers opened the bag and found an 8-year-old boy folded inside. His name was Abu, and he was from Ivory Coast. A 19-year-old woman had been paid to smuggle him across the border. The boy's father, desperate to reunite with his son, waited anxiously on the other side. He was arrested immediately. Abu was healthy but understandably terrified. The incident highlighted the extreme lengths some families take to escape difficult circumstances. Not all airport mysteries involve people or packages. Some involve things that shouldn't exist. Number 9. Indonesian flight shadow. A passenger named Gus filmed an empty cabin to send a quick video to his wife. The plane was mostly empty, brightly lit, and completely ordinary. But when he watched the footage back, he saw something that didn't make sense. A dark shape, distinctly human in form, occupied a seat several rows ahead. When Gus walked over to investigate, the seat was empty. The shadow had vanished. Many viewers believe the camera captured a spirit that Gus's eyes couldn't see. Perhaps it was a deceased passenger still occupying their final seat. If a shadow in a seat is unsettling, consider what happened in an empty aircraft. Number 8. The unlatching seat belt. A cabin cleaner worked a solo night shift in a cold, unpowered aircraft. All his colleagues had left, and he was alone in the dark. He filmed himself walking through the empty cabin. Suddenly, a heavy metal seatbelt buckle unlatched by itself and dropped onto the cushion. It was exactly as if an invisible passenger had just unbuckled to stand up. The cleaner immediately checked the area, completely empty. Airplane seatbelts require significant mechanical force to open. They simply don't come undone spontaneously. Was it a spirit, or was it an impossible coincidence? The cleaner couldn't explain it. If spirits are unnerving, consider the case of a man who fled an airport and was never seen again. Number 7. Lars Mittank's disappearance. Airport cameras captured a man in a bright yellow t-shirt sprinting through a Bulgarian terminal. He raced past check-in desks and departure gates without stopping. He burst through exit doors and crossed the car park at full speed. He scaled a 2-meter barbed wire fence, landed on the other side, and ran into a sunflower field. Beyond the field lay a forest. He entered it and vanished forever. The man was Lars Mittank, a 28-year-old German tourist. His friends had flown home after a holiday, leaving Lars behind because of an ear infection. A doctor at the airport described him as nervous and erratic. Despite an ongoing investigation, no trace of Lars has ever been found. His mother continues to post missing person notices, refusing to believe he is dead. While one man fled into a forest, another man attacked police officers in a terminal. Number 6. Manchester Airport Attack. 2 female police officers responded to a disturbance at a Manchester airport cafe. A 21-year-old man named Mohammed Faher Amaz was picking up his mother. When the officers attempted to intervene, he exploded with shocking violence. Officer Ward took a full-force punch to the face that broke her nose and left permanent scarring. Officer Cook suffered repeated elbow strikes and blows. She later said it felt like being beaten by 3 people at once. Her vision went dark. Fearing he would take her firearm, she drew her taser and fired, taking him down. The man was convicted and sentenced to 3.5 years in prison. The judge noted his complete absence of remorse. If human violence is disturbing, consider what one security guard encountered in an empty plane. Number 5. Mexico City Airport Ghost. Mexico City. International Airport Security Patrolman Francisco Hernandez was nearing the end of his night shift. He heard strange banging from inside an empty, unpowered aircraft parked on the tarmac. Using his phone as a flashlight, Hernandez boarded the plane. The only sounds were his breathing and footsteps echoing through the dark cabin. He checked the aisles and inspected the cargo area below. When he came back up, he shone his light toward the rear partition. A distinct human-shaped shadow peered out from behind the curtain. Solid, but completely featureless. Hernandez screamed, cursed, and sprinted for the exit. He later released the footage to prove he hadn't hallucinated. Other guards, he said, had experienced similar horrors in the same airport. If a ghost in the dark is terrifying, what about a woman who vanished on live television? Number 4. The Vanishing Blonde. A Danish broadcaster was filming an interview with a national handball coach at Copenhagen Airport. In the background, near a baggage carousel, a blonde woman in a blue coat stood chatting with a friend. Then, in the gap between camera frames, she disappeared. The footage went viral instantly. Comment sections exploded with theories: matrix glitch, alien abduction, teleportation. Danish media investigated, and then international media joined. The woman turned out to be Trine Skovgaard Nielsen, a former Olympic gold medalist. 2 days later, she explained what happened. She had realized she was standing in the background of a live broadcast. She didn't want to disrupt the interview, so she stepped sideways at the exact moment the camera cycled between frames. It was timing, not teleportation. While some disappearances have explanations, some crimes are undeniable. Number 3. Tiger Cub Smuggler. A woman at Bangkok's Suvarnabhumi airport thought she could smuggle a tiger cub past security. She sedated the 3-month-old animal and placed it among stuffed toy tigers in her luggage. She hoped the real cub would blend in with the toys. but security noticed the suitcase's unusual weight and shape. When they opened it, officers discovered the sedated tiger cub inside. The woman claimed she had no idea what was in her luggage, but authorities didn't believe her. She was arrested and faced Thailand's severe penalties for wildlife trafficking, including heavy fines and prison time. While animals suffer at the hands of smugglers, humans also fall victim to violence. Number 2. JFK Station Attack. Wahid Foster, a man with a lengthy criminal record, was caught on camera attacking a woman at the Howard Beach JFK Airport Station. He had been charged with murder less than a month earlier. The attack left the woman permanently blind in her right eye. The victim couldn't face Foster in court, but she wrote a statement describing the incident as a nightmare that haunts her. Foster's criminal history is horrifying. At 14, he beat his 82-year-old grandmother over money. In 2010, he stabbed a woman in the face while in a mental institution. Just before this attack, he faced charges for strangling his girlfriend to death. Foster remains held at Rikers Island without bail. Even the darkest human crimes can be overshadowed by threats from above. Number 1. Dubai Drone Attack. Dubai International Airport handles approximately 100 million passengers annually. In March 2026, a sudden drone attack brought the hub to a standstill. Cell phone footage captured thick black smoke rising beside the airfield. Many feared a passenger jet had been struck. Authorities confirmed that a weaponized drone had hit an aviation fuel storage tank. A chain explosion was a very real threat, forcing a complete suspension of all flights. Defense systems intercepted additional threats, and crews contained the fire. There were no casualties. Flights resumed within an hour, but the psychological impact lingered. Thanks for watching. Now check out the videos popping up on screen for more unbelievable stories.